and let us all do we can to build a better future.
All right. So let's talk about protesting. Let's talk about confronting politicians. And if you want to go big, you want to shoot for the ultimate goal, and that is calling out the queen of warmongering herself, Hillary Rodham Clinton. So Jose Vega, no, it's not Jose Vega, but Jose Vega retweeted this out and wanted to give a shout out to two of his colleagues who actually call out Hillary Rodham Clinton. I know. They better keep their heads on a swivel, knowing Hillary Clinton's track record. But it's quite glorious to see. It's 3 minutes and 42 seconds of pure gold. She is put out of her comfort zone, and so many of the liberal audience, the latte-drinking liberals, are shocked and surprised that someone would interrupt the queen herself, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Who would think? Who would even think?
Honestly, be struck by the hypocrisy of this.
Two more people to hear from.
I'm sorry.
You have a chance. Well, I'm not sorry. You sit down.
I know you're not sorry. That's the point. The hypocrisy of this speech. The hypocrisy of the fact that
what do you have?
Can you please
make
a statement about President Joe Biden's speech? This is a clearly warmongering speech. President Joe Biden is calling for $100 billion of funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, and we're supposed to just bundle these together and pretend like we're going to rush to World War III, and we're all just going to let Hillary Rodham Clinton sit here. Okay.
I'm sorry. You know, this is not the way to have a conversation.
I'm sorry.
If you want to have a conversation.
She's saying this is not the way to have a conversation because, you know, right now she's upset. This is her turn. See, normally Hillary Clinton's in a controlled environment. But what I love about this is that you're seeing people actually have the audacity and the courage to step up and call out these politicians and make them uncomfortable.
Conversation. You're welcome to come talk to me afterwards.
You can sit here.
Now, let's have a show of hands. Let's really have a serious conversation here. Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 if you think Hillary Clinton is going to sit down and have a nice chat with this activist. A type 2, no, she's not. She's going to run away like any other politician.
Okay, right. You're gonna wait for me, right? Please, I do not believe you.
I will listen to you, and I will respond to you.
I do not believe you. Respectfully, I do not believe you. And the fact of the matter is that the American people's voice are what need to be heard.
Yeah, they are being heard.
Because our president is not speaking for the American people, and neither are you.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, that's my opinion.
But then sit down. We've heard your opinion. Thank you very much. Now we're going to turn to people who are on the front lines.
I'm not going to stop
working on behalf of human rights.
I'm going to exercise my free speech.
But it's not free speech.
What do you mean it's not free speech, Hillary? Remember how she ran on that platform in 2016 and how Donald Trump was a threat to democracy? How, oh my goodness gracious, if he is put into the White House, it'll be the end of everything. Now, notice how quick the Democrats, now that Biden is in charge, are quick to censor and suppress. I just want to throw this out here. But since Biden has been in office, a lot of people in independent media have been put on the chopping block. I know that Harlan's media, we survived not 1, but 8 different strikes. But our colleagues, such as Indie News, JB Font's personal YouTube page, Richard Medhurst, Jackson Hinkle's page completely destroyed. Yeah, a lot of people in independent media are being silenced and suppressed. Now, we have to call out the military-industrial complex. We have to call out the fact that our politicians every single time constantly lead us into forever wars. We have this ridiculous conflict in Ukraine. We have this ridiculous conflict that's happening between Israel and Palestine. All the while, people like Hillary Clinton have made a career profiting off of these unending forever wars. Her and her fantastic colleagues in both the Democratic and Republican Party. That's right. Your favorite fantastic lawmakers are intertwined with the military-industrial complex, big oil, big money to profit off of unending suffering, while the rest of us are left struggling. Billions of dollars for war, no money for Maui, no money for East Palestine, Ohio, no money for Flint, Michigan, no money for the American people.
When you are disrupting everybody else's opportunity to speak.
This is free speech, everyone. This is free speech. That is not free speech.
Notice that. Hold on. I'm going to try and keep my pausing to a minimum because there's also a part 2 to this video. But notice the failed attempt of the audience to chant, "No, it's not. No, it's not. They tried, but they lack one thing. It's called enthusiasm.
But it's not free speech when you are disrupting everybody else's opportunity to speak.
This is free speech, everyone. This is free speech. That is not free speech. This is people constructing narratives that are openly hypocritical. I'm sorry. The incredible hypocrisy.
Maybe you could actually
went with Eleanor Roosevelt to bring this Declaration of the Rights of Man. John Foster Dulles was involved with the CIA.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're brilliant in your historical...
She's trying to be funny.
Cherry picking.
The Pinochet regime.
Please,
could you please inform me about the United States?
Okay, we're going to move on
will you denounce Joe Biden? Will you denounce Joe Biden's
human rights, not just yelling about it? So, Frank, I want to turn to you because you are from Uganda, and Uganda's 2023 Anti-Homosexuality Act.
I just love that this whole entire event has just been upended. It's pure gold, and you love watching it. This is what somebody who's part of the establishment deserves. Okay. It's at the end of the day, these politicians deserve to be criticized and called out because they made quite a comfortable livelihood for themselves. It's quite fantastic to see it. That finally, people are no longer being polite and kind, all while these politicians live lavish lifestyles. That's right. These politicians of both the Democrat and Republican parties both have gold-plated healthcare, wonderful social benefits, and a cushy lobbying job waiting for them should they retire or be voted out of office. What, you think that once they're out of office, they're going to be done with DC? No. The money train, the gravy train's got to keep on rolling.
Criminalizes LGBTI conduct in Uganda.
Push us to World War III.
Oh,
Do you
please.
understand? It's not about Israel and Palestine. It's not football. This isn't football. It's not Team America.
Well, I'm sorry, but some of us are on Team America despite our flaws and our...
Oh, Hillary, please. All it is a lie. I mean, if you're part of Team America, I mean, my goodness gracious. We're in all these forever wars. How are we ever going to get out of it? How are we ever going to do that? Now, I'm willing to bet that she wishes that she maybe had the same kind of manpower and muscle surrounding her like it was in 2016, where she just kick out activists. Because remember, during the 2016 Democratic primary, she was constantly berating people who were calling out for her own hypocrisy, to where she was wrong on all the issues. People forget the actions of Hillary Clinton during the 2016 primary. Never forget.
Yes, that's me.
And some of us, every person on this stage.
You have to stop right now. You have to stop.
Wait, I want to say one thing. Every person on this stage has risked their life, their income, their reputation.
Oh, God. Here we go. Someone who's finger wagging. Someone who's trying to act holier than thou. You always got to wonder about people like that. But anyways, you got to act that. You got to have somebody like that on the stage who says, everyone on the stage has done a fantastic job.
Right now. You have to
stop. Wait, I want to say one thing. Every person on this stage has risked their life, their income, their reputation, their careers, and what have you done other than stand up and disrupt?
I need you to
put my record and these women's records and Frank's records against you any day.
Oh, God. Do you know? Wait, she already knows who she's on the stage with. And most notably was Hillary Clinton. Do we have to talk about how she laughed as Libya became an unstable war zone? Remember that? Listen, as soon as Gaddafi went, what happened to Libya? It became an open slave trade. Not to mention, Hillary Clinton was part of the Obama administration. The same Obama administration that led us from 2 wars to 7, got rid of habeas corpus. You know those kids in cages? Yeah, that happened under old Barack Obama.
of the year.
I'll respond. What I have done is I have asked Hillary Rodham Clinton to denounce the president's openly warmongering, suicidal, idiotic speech.
And I've given my answer. I will not do that. So that's the end of our conversation. But I'll still meet you outside. But you're done
right now.
He wants the identification papers.
Okay, Frank.
Okay.
Frank has been.
She said she'll meet me outside.
Okay.
So there is a part 2. There is a part 2. There always is going to be a part 2. So let's see what's going to happen. Now, to be clear here, folks, to be very, very, very clear here. All right. All it is nothing but more of a camera shot lens to the ground. But it's important that we hear the second part of it. Now, again, I'm going to ask again for everyone to weigh in on. Do you think Hillary Clinton met him? Type 1 for yes, she did, because she's a woman of integrity. Type 2, no, she didn't. She's a politician. What's wrong with you?
Discuss afterwards with people?
Sure, if you want to.
You do? Like where? Where? Right here?
Good, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I do have a question, actually, in the same vein as the man who stood up earlier.
Right.
It is.
And you're a student.
Now, to be clear here, it's not the same guy. It's actually somebody else. She did not talk to Jose Vega's friend, but another person. So yes and no. Yes and no. She did talk to somebody, but there was another person there. So I did reach out to them. Hopefully we could have them on our show, and we can have an interesting conversation about how the hell they pulled off this wonderful call out.
I am, yes. And his question was regarding this aid package that Joe Biden proposed, the $105 billion conjoined aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the border.
And there's humanitarian aid.
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah,
but,
he did not mention
but
that.
however, he didn't. However, he didn't really have a lot of time because he was trying to, I know he was speaking in the middle of a larger speech. However, my question is, I'm sure you've heard about the Belt and Road Initiative Forum that happened in Beijing just like last week. Why should the United States not be cooperating with that rather than trying to aid more wars? That's my question.
Well, you have to do more than one thing at the same time.
Sure.
And the United States does a tremendous amount of development aid without the kind of onerous restrictions that China imposes on the people it gives aid to.
What about the debt traps in Africa?
Those are all Chinese.
No,
no.
The IMF and the World Bank have been opposing them for years.
No, we did a whole debt. You listen to me?
Yes.
It's China. Just listen to me.
So in case you guys ever get a chance to, please read the book, Tales of an Economic Hitman. It's a fantastic read.
We did a whole debt relief program called the Jubilee in 2000.
Yeah.
Forgave everybody's debt.
How much debt was that?
Oh, it was huge.
China just forgave $90 billion in loans like 2 years ago.
I know, but that is a drop in the bucket of what they have done to people, because they've not only put countries into debt. As of now, they are not forgiving most of that debt, but they are taking the collateral that was used in order to get the debt. So, for example, if they were going to help build a road, they wanted some kind of mortgage on your airport.
And where have they done that?
They've done it all over Africa.
Which countries?
Uganda, they wanted to take the airport.
They wanted to take the airport.
Have they taken the airport?
Of another sovereign property.
Yeah.
Have they taken it though?
They tried to.
They have not taken it.
No, but they tried to.
Just to be clear, they
No.
haven't though.
No, but they attempted to,
I
and it was
see.
the United States that came in to help
I
Uganda
see.
avoid having to give their airport to China. You need to really study
I
up on
appreciate
this.
that. Then my final
in
question.
and in the Philippines,
Notice again, she's doing everything she can to deflect and try and control the narrative by saying, how dare you think for yourself? How dare you call out policies? How dare you put me in a bad limelight? Hey, I'm going to flip-flop and once again put on my neoliberal act.
it's the same thing. If you look, I
Have they seized any sovereign assets in the Philippines?
They control our electricity.
Oh, how so?
Like distribution of electricity.
Like how so? Like you guys buy all
Yeah, exactly. So, they control your electricity. You got to explain in detail.
your electricity from China?
They control, they can shut it down.
they make corrupt deals.
Because you guys buy it, or because they own sovereign
I
assets
think you
in
have
the
to go and
Philippines?
look at each one of the countries and look and see where was the corruption in between,
Yeah,
right? How did that Chinese deal come through?
I understand.
The same question could be like, hey, how did that American deal come through? It's not like we don't have a track record of corruption. I know, but look, folks, there's corruption everywhere, to be clear. But we as a country could be better. We could be so much better.
We're doing the investigations in that, and we're trying to hold our own.
My question is, though, no sovereign assets have been seized, though, because that was the claim.
They've been owned. They've been
Yes.
owned. That's the same
Yes,
thing.
yes,
Who
yes,
owned
yes.
what Indonesian assets are owned by the Chinese?
I live in the Philippines,
Yes,
but I
or
did,
sorry,
I
Philippines.
did actually also.
But
work
it also in Indonesia,
Yeah,
yes.
the same, it's the same.
I've heard this claim in various countries,
But
but
I guess part of it is, it's real for us. It's
Yes.
not a claim. It's not
I understand.
It's constant.
I understand that.
So I would
Understand.
suggest, why don't you really do a deep dive?
Okay.
You may still come
So she's saying, do a deep dive. You're not thinking properly, and the next time you approach me, it'll be the last.
up with the same opinions you have now.
Yeah.
But do a deep dive, because the whole Belt and Road Initiative
Yeah.
was initially thought to be a very, it was thought, but initially, at the very beginning, it was thought to be a different form of development aid.
Yeah.
And, people were very enthusiastic about that.
Why didn't
As-
the U.S. join? We were
Because we
invited to
do-
join in 2015.
No, we were not
We
invited.
were.
No, we were
President
invited.
Xi Jinping has said that from the beginning.
No,
I
The United
you're
States has been
confusing,
invited to join.
you're confusing two things. They also
No.
started a bank.
No, the Belt and Road Initiative.
No.
We are invited to join. I was just in China. I talked to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They directly told me that you guys are invited
That
to
is
join.
not the best.
That is not the best source of information. I just know she's going to say that's not the best source of information. And she's going to say you're not listening properly and you're a Putin puppet. You're a Assad stooge. You're just an evil, bad person. Hashtag you didn't vote for me.
Directly told me that you guys are invited to join.
That is not the best source of
Yes.
accurate
Well, when they
information.
directly told me you guys are invited to join, so why don't we join?
You have to look at China again. You
Yeah.
have to look at
You have to look at China again.
China again.
Look, I think it's great that you're interested in China.
Yeah.
I just want you to get the whole picture.
I understand.
All
Okay,
right,
wait.
Thank you.
Why did the
Thank
president
you.
of South Africa say when the West comes to our country, we get a lecture, when China comes, we get a road or a bridge? If all this is
Because
true.
it comes with strings attached.
comes with-
Strings attached like the IMF and the World Bank.
Much
We're playing that again. The IMF and the World Bank.
Lecture, when China comes, we get a road or a bridge. If all this is
because
true.
it comes with strings attached.
comes with-
Strings attached like the IMF and the World Bank.
Much worse.
No, much worse than the IMF and World Bank. I see. Thank you, Mrs. Clinton. Have a good day.
As always, these two individuals, I am going to personally invite them to be on our show. I did send a private message. Hopefully we can have them on soon, very soon or not. But nonetheless, this was an epic call out. And I want to thank Jose Vega for retweeting this out and sharing this all across social media. The first individual who did call out Hillary Clinton did do his own little protest. Hillary Clinton said she'd wait and talk. Turns out, no, that wasn't the case at all. And so, yes, these were the two individuals that actually called out Hillary Clinton and actually did a fantastic job in shining a light on how horribly corrupt these politicians are. Look, we have a track record right now of unending war. We have a track record of constantly bailing out banks and corporations. We have a track record of causing a lot of political instability. It's because of politicians like Hillary Clinton and those who make up the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And what American voters need to realize is that these past years, these past decades, has been nothing but one big, epic financial victory for the top 1%. So if you're a voter and you vote Democrat or Republican, know this: you're electing people into office who've been in power for decades or have associated themselves with dynastic families who've been in power for decades in order to enrich themselves. And because they've been enriching themselves, they've been ignoring the people. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Owning a home is a dream now. They're opening up parking lots so that people who don't have a home but live in their cars can go ahead and park their car in the parking lot. So, hey, if you work hard enough, even you can live in a parking lot. That's right, in America, richest country in the world. Money for war. It's going to be completely indifferent to a president who is showing signs of dementia and Alzheimer's. Debate me on it. The man clearly is not there. He is in a huge decline. This isn't open up for discussion. And everyone that's part of his administration have shown themselves to not only be politically inept, but inherently corrupt and in it for their own personal gain. A lot of these politicians, a lot of these people who are involved in DC politics are thinking about their career 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years down the road. They're not going to fight for us. And yet, at the end of the day, we have a corporate media that shields these politicians. We have an elite education system that shields these politicians and allows them to speak. And when they are confronted and criticized intellectually, they have to deflect and lie because that's all what they know how to do. So you got to make these politicians uncomfortable. You have to call them out for the hypocrites that they are. Otherwise, nothing will change. Now, I'm willing to bet there's going to probably be some Hill Dog supporter who's going to say, oh my God, these misogynist people confronted Hillary. Hashtag she should have been president. I could see that happening. I could see somebody doing that. But let's continue to make these politicians uncomfortable. They work for us, not the other way around. They are not the masters, we are. That is the real truth, and it's long overdue that the American people realize that. Because, as I've said on the show, these politicians, they don't like us, they don't think about us, and they don't respect us. So because they act that way towards us, I think it's only fair for us to act the same way to them until they actually show that they give a damn, which none of them will because they're all sociopaths and liars through and through. Simple as that.